Hello, my name is Regina Morgan, and this is for Human Services with Introduction to Human Services. And my paper was on self-determination and with adults having disabilities is what I did my research on in the outlines, the books, and journals that I found. And also what I looked up and read some of the information, and it was more or less dealing with, student adults um, going to school, going to college, and how they were inspired to go to college because they didn't just want to settle for what others said. They wanted to be self-sufficient. They wanted to have self-awareness. They wanted to be self-driven, to show that they're able to do what any other regular adult can and wanted to do. Also, the determination with developmentally, they also showed, articles of how students took classes to help them be better organized, to help them stay focused, to help them be able to manage everyday living in their environment as adults with disabilities. It was really inspiring, because sometimes you look, at people and say, wow, they're just sitting there. But the articles that I was reading show how people really was determined to be able to live a full and happy life, a full life to where, they can go to school, or they can get a job and work on a full-time job if they wanted to, or if they just wanted to go out and day living, going grocery shopping, being able to communicate with other people. They made sure that they did the normal for them and the normal adult things, because they were self-determined, they were self-driven, they were self-aware of their surroundings and what they wanted out of life. A lot of them had goals that they wanted to set. A lot of them, they just really demonstrated how they wanted to live and not be told how they wanted to live. And a lot of the things too that I wrote down was that they were goal setters. They self-monitoring. They were able to self-monitor themselves because of some of the classes that they took, some of the programs that they were in. They were self-advocates. They spoke up for themselves. They didn't allow people to speak for them. They spoke up for themselves, and that was really great. I really like that piece of it, because a lot of times, students and adults with disabilities, people find themselves always trying to cater to them or babysit them. But a lot of them was like, I don't need babysitting. I can speak for myself. I can do for myself. And that was really good. And a lot of them did do decision making on their own. But it took time. It wasn't something that came right to them. It took them time, and they really endured, with it, and they became successful. Now, it was some instances where it was one gentleman that he was not able to function by himself, so he did have someone with him around the clock that would ride the bus with him if he wanted to go in the city or around town, or go to class, or go to a restaurant and sit down and eat. He did have someone with him. He had a social worker, someone that took the time to go with him to make sure that he enjoyed his everyday living, that he enjoyed the activities that he wanted, to help manage him to be able to be functional in today's society. And also, there were a lot of studies done as well. There were books that talked about the studies of self-determination, and how a lot of professors or doctors did studies on adults with disabilities with the developmental issues, to see how they function you know, in society, and or if they had someone with them, it was just a good thing to see that the study helped a lot of the adults with disabilities and adults that were wanting to go back to school, because it encouraged them that they can do it. Anything is possible, you know, when your heart and your mind is ready and set to do it, regardless if you have disabilities or not. And that was just the empowering part of it, because they had the self-regulations, you know, the knowing what they could and could not do, which made it better as well. I really enjoyed, you know, doing the piece on the self-determination, because, again, I always say, if your mind and your heart is set on something, then you can do it, because, you know, those are the two components that will help you be steadfast, unmovable, in whatever you want to do in life, disability or no disability.